I am here with Matt Frisbie, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Little Giant Ladders. And Matt is actually joining us from his studio at the corporate headquarters from Little Giant Ladders.
So normally we take these ladders, and the ladders behind me, especially a ladder of this size, and we would go to our dealers and to our retailers. We would ship these products across the country. Now, when you're able to demonstrate this in person and you're able to go, hey, papa, it really helps sell the product, but you can't. How are we gonna demonstrate products in an exciting way? When we have a saying around here, when the ladder moves, the ladder moves. And that's a fact. And so our ladders do so many things, and people have no idea how many ladders we have. So we wanted to really upgrade the experience. And so Stefan's gonna walk with me around the studio, and he's on a rolling camera, and so I can show you our products, large and tall. I can show you, different use cases. Is this going to be a leading situation? Are we going to go, up against the wall? I'm going to go to this camera right here in the corner, so I can show you how this works. And so it really changed the nature of that. And so I can climb this ladder and show you this really works, And so I've got all this way to demonstrate. And then I'll have the guys bring in some B-roll. And so if I say, hey, what if you're in this situation? So here's a guy on a telephone pole, right? And here's a guy actually using it in the field. You can't do that in a face-to-face meeting in this way. And so the demonstration capability massively exceeded expectations. And instead of me traveling, we call it windshield time. And so you were spending 2 days for a 1-hour meeting. In that same span, I can have 16 meetings, and that's just a 9 to 5. And so we have customers all over the world, and now we can have crews show up at different times and be broadcasting pretty much all day. So I was in the agency world for a while. Little Giant was a client of mine and brought me in-house in 2019. And never in my life did I think I'd be excited about ladders. And it's been nothing short of fun. I've been helping this brand. We're growing, wildly right now. A lot of, home builders are, and it's been really exciting. We've got an incredible team and an incredible opportunity. The funny thing is about safety, no one wants to talk about it, ever. In fact, it's our least popular marketing. It gets the lowest engagement, but it's real. We engineer safety into it so you don't have to think about it. And that's when we know we've done our job. But if we hadn't done the homework on how often people are injured on the ladder, the company really went through its evolution about 9 years ago and recognized that safety information was ignored. And so we threw ourselves at it, and we learned that every single day in the US, 2,000 people are injured on a ladder. 100 of those people will be permanently disabled, and at least one of them will die. That's every day. They will willfully put themselves in danger in order to get the job done. So what does that tell us? If I'm a content marketer, I've got to tap into an insight. They want speed, right? They want strength, they want durability, but I can't use safety in my marketing. So I have to engineer it into the product so they feel safe without me using the word safety. And so that's been an interesting marketing challenge. It's so important to know your product. If you know your product, you'll actually understand your customer quickly. The insights on how they feel, that's what a marketer's job is to get to that emotion, to get to the kind of the hinge point of what makes them I'm ready. It's about peace of mind. It's about fun with the family. It's about speed. And so there's these different elements that you just have to tap into that core emotion, and then you can kind of sell anything you want. The other thing that we learned is that because we're a consumer brand, people are actually in love with Little Giant as a brand. We find that they'll buy anything that we sell, right? We've got a variety of accessories, a variety of swag and different things, and they're almost more excited to buy a hoodie than they are a ladder. Allow yourself to fail, and look at that as the opportunity for rapid growth. As an agency owner, I've been fired almost 200 times. If you think about it, right? I completed a contract, but really I was fired.
Right.
If they wanted to keep working with me, they would have kept working with me. And I had plenty of that. We had clients for years. But being fired 200 times really teaches you a lot, I mean, I got hired also 5 times a week, right? And so that was a very interesting thing. And so I would say allow yourself to fail and celebrate those failures as a gift. We meet once a week and we call OKR, Objective Key Results, and it's a 15-minute one-on-one. And the first question is how do you feel? Not how you're doing, how do you feel? And then we talk about, what went well last week? And they, mention something. And then I ask, what did you fail at? And I hope that they feel like I spend a short amount of time there. And the follow-up question is, what did you learn about it? And that's the bigger highlight, is what did you learn? Because I'm guessing it was really valuable. Right? And I want to learn what you failed at, like what would you never do again, or what would you make a tweak to? And then there's a couple more questions, but the last one is, who crushed it last week? And what core value did they emulate? And so I've learned, because it was taught to me, that gratitude is infectious. And when you spend time and spend that week thinking about, I got to give somebody a compliment, you pay attention to the good things they do. It builds trust. As I understood that I felt, I understood that I'm being grateful. And so I would conclude with that being grateful will open up your perspective. It's critical to constantly innovate. It's critical to constantly launch products. One of the things I'm most grateful for is we're constantly innovating. So if you're ever on uneven ground, right? Like, we're the only ladder that does that. People love innovation, and the fact that we are innovating all the time. We have 38 products that are launching in the next 18 months. It's exhilarating. It creates a ton of work, but we do, the product innovation with a great engineering team. We have a great way to sell it here. The merchandising is critically important, and being consistent across all these retailers is a very difficult job. So we've created brand consistency on Lowe's.com, on Amazon, and Ace. It's a lot of work. And is it engaging? Does it convert? This last year, our creative team helped increase conversion by 25% by improved merchandising, which increased our ad efficiency by 33%. And so our product team works directly with their engineering group, and there's so much fun to see how we're thinking about access, how we're thinking about proximity, how we're thinking about durability, sustainability. It's not about ladders, right? It's about speed. And so when you think about those paradigms, we talk about that in marketing insights, we talk about that in product insights. And so we got to a point where we're really comfortable with our variety of ladders, and how do we optimize climbing, and how do we optimize the experience of the brand, how do we optimize their experience. And so that's as much of a marketing message as it is a product message. There's so many considerations that working on product, like, how can I merchandise this? How am I going to put this in a bay? How am I going to put this online? Oftentimes your digital merchandising is more complicated than your in-store, but then in other cases it's the other way around.